Good afternoon and welcome back to Law and Crime. I'm Linda Kenny Bodden. We have a special guest here with us from Boise, Idaho, and she's live to bring us the latest updates in the trial against Doomsday cult mom known as Lori Vallow Daybell. This 49-year-old defendant faces conspiracy and first-degree murder charges in the deaths of her two children, that is 7-year-old J.J. Vallow and 16-year-old Tylee Ryan. The third victim is her husband Chad's first wife, 49-year-old Tammy Daybell. Chad also faces similar charges and will be tried separately later on. Well, Gigi McKelvey, welcome. And what do you have for us to tell us? And I would like to focus on what happened this morning, and then we'll talk about some questions.
Well, this morning was mainly a lot of financial information coming in. We had one detective from Rexburg who kind of set up the documents that he sent subpoenas for. Then we had somebody on from the FBI who actually went through these accounts and broke down where the money went. So a few interesting things was on September 1st of 2019, just a little over a month before Tammy Daybell was murdered, her life insurance policy was upped. And from what I know, studying this case for 3 years, it was actually maxed out to the max amount it could be. Also, there were over 20 Venmo transactions from Lori Vallow to who I believe is her son Colby over a period of months. Tylee also was sending some Venmo transfers, but just in much smaller amounts. So it's been a lot of showing that Lori changes the deposit account for the Social Security benefits Tylee was receiving from her father, Joe Ryan, after his death from Tylee's bank account into Lori's in August, just a couple of weeks before Tylee was murdered. So you kind of see a pattern here of planning for future events and making sure the finances are set up. That's kind of been the theme for today.
So let's just break down the issue of Tylee. There were transfers from his Venmo account, her Venmo account to who, and the purpose is what? Did the prosecution make absolutely clear?
Well, they've given no purpose, really. The transfers from Tylee to her brother Colby were smaller amounts. They were very frequent. And then they moved on to Lori. She had two separate Venmo accounts. Those accounts were sending larger amounts to Colby over several months and over 20 transactions. The total was over $5,000, and we really don't know what that money was for, maybe just to help him out with his bills or whatever. It's a large amount, though, for a few months to be getting an income from your mom, but hey, that's just me.
Yeah, so the other financial evidence you just presented to us, you said that Tammy Daybell, who was Chad Daybell's deceased wife, we learned from the exhumation, right? That she actually probably died, according to the prosecution, from asphyxiation. The life insurance policies, were they taken out close to her death?
They were existing policies. They were maxed out on September 1st of 2019. She was murdered October 19th of 2019. It looks like he got those payouts at the end of November, maybe into December. Now, he is charged with insurance fraud with those deposits and lying, I guess, about her cause of death. It was deemed natural, but as we know now, after she was exhumed, it was deemed to be a homicide. So he is charged with insurance fraud with that, and Lori as well with Social Security fraud. So that's kind of what we've been touching on today is the grand theft charges that Lori has, and that's the evidence so far we've heard today.
Okay, so I understand, Gigi, that there was also some evidence that wasn't necessarily financial, but it was about medications, and that was that JJ wasn't being medicated properly leading up to his death. What can you tell us about this evidence?
This hasn't been brought up in court, but just from researching the case, the last time his medication for his autism was filled was in January of 2019, back when all this really started getting underway, I guess, with Lori leaving Charles. It hadn't been refilled up to the point of his death. There were still, I believe, 17 pills left in that bottle, so it was clear she likely wasn't medicating him, but in fact, I'd never heard this. There was a tip that the FBI received that the kids may be on a compound in Montana. So they also searched the state of Montana for any pharmacy records for J.J. Tylee, as well as Melanie Pulaski, who is Lori's niece. So they were looking everywhere to see if they could find the kids or see any proof of life. But unfortunately, that last medication months before J.J. was murdered.
Yeah, and speaking about FBI agents, you just mentioned that they were on the stand. Miles Douglas was one of the agents on the stand. Did he have anything else to add besides what you just told us?
No, I mean, they were just really breaking down these accounts. There were a couple accounts where Lori and Alex were co-owners of the account. It was a credit card in Alex's name. Lori was an authorized user, and they were talking about how Alex made all the payments. Lori made one. That card was used sometimes to fly Chad to visit Lori and things like that. So they kind of broke down some different costs. Talking about the Valley of the Sun mortuary purchase where Charles was cremated and those remains shipped was used on a credit card. And then the next day, she actually bought Chad a plane ticket to come visit her after she paid for her husband's cremation. So not getting any brownie points with this jury again today. It seems with every witness, it just looks worse and worse for Lori Vallow Daybell.
Yeah, and obviously this is your reaction. The jury's going to have their reaction, which is probably the same. But is there anything else before we let you go? Because I know once you go back into that courtroom where you have to be, I won't get a chance to talk to you, Gigi. Anything else that you found was important in this case about money, power, and sex that the prosecution said it was going to prove?
Yeah, I mean, it's clear that Lori was using all the Social Security money between Tylee, J.J., and she also got a stipend as a caregiver to the kids from Social Security. All that was going into her bank account. She was using that to live off of. And so, you know, just a low thing. In fact, Tylee was making the payments on that Jeep that was driven in the attempt of Brandon Boudreaux before he was murdered. Charles Vallow, back in April of 2019, helped Tylee to get that car. And it was coming out of her bank account with the funds from Social Security. And in August, that payment bounced due to insufficient funds. But that was after Lori had Tylee move all of her Social Security money into Lori's account. And then at one point, Colby asked Tylee for some Venmo money, and she told Colby, I don't have access to my money anymore, Mom does. So things like that are coming out piece by piece, and it's just part of the bigger picture.
Yeah. And there is no one better than Gigi McKelvey to give us the bigger picture here. I suggest that you go to Twitter, follow her, and Gigi, what's your handle?
Pretty Lies Alibi.
And she will keep you updated on a blow-by-blow basis of what's happening out in Boise, Idaho. Thank you so much, Gigi. You're just terrific, as usual, giving us the facts. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.